I'd like to call this meeting of Zion City Council to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McKinney?
I'm sorry.
Here.
Commissioner
What?
Fisher?
Here.
Commissioner Deteen?
Here.
Commissioner McDowell?
Here.
Mayor Hill?
Here. Pastor Weicher?
Let's pray. Our Lord God, we are grateful today and this week, especially in this week of Thanksgiving. We are grateful for all the good gifts that you give. You're a God who provides for our needs, and we have an abundance of good things, both individually and collectively, and we are grateful for that. We are grateful for our city, for those who serve in every capacity in our city. We just pray for your ongoing leadership and grace in that. We are grateful that we have freedom, and we are grateful that we have many who sacrifice in many ways in our military and the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard that protect our freedoms, and we are grateful for them, and we pray for your blessing upon them. Guide us tonight in this meeting. May the things that are done be good for our city, and may we seek in all things to glorify you, and we pray in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 4 is agenda changes. Do any of the commissioners have any agenda changes? Hearing none, I would like to delete items 12 and 13. I apologize for, I guess, taking these off the agenda. We did not get the information out to you early enough so that you had time to digest it and make it and think about it and make a decision. And item 13 was action on item 12. So is there a motion to accept the agenda as amended?
So move to approve.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
Is there discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Deteen?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item number 5 is citizens' comments. Mr. W.C. Bremner, 2520. Oh, okay. Probably should give a.
Thank you, sir. I'm W.C. Bremner, 2525 Elam, Mayor Hill, honorable sirs, gentle ladies. All of you know that I am noted far and wide for the quality and quantity of research that I do on your individual and collective behalves. Tonight, I would like to present you with some research that I have done, hopefully for the benefit of the city of Zion. For the past several months, you have been debating, or at least discussing, city finances, and in these conversations, the fact has come out that parking in Zion is free. I presume all of you are aware that Waukegan charges $5 a day from 12:01 a.m. to 12 midnight that same day to park in municipal parking lots in Waukegan. In Zion, parking is free. In the harbor charges $2 a day, from what I understand, to park in their Metro parking lot. In Zion, parking is free. Kenosha charges $5 a day to park in a parking lot in the general vicinity of the Metro terminal up there. I understand that there is a county parking lot that also charges a daily and a monthly fee depending on what you want. In Zion, parking is free. Now, what research have I done? The past several days I have driven through the west parking lot at the Metro station after I walk my dog in Edina Park. Today, by actual count, there were 10 vehicles in both lots with out-of-state license plates. There were another 10 vehicles in both lots, both the east and west lots here, that did not have Zion stickers in their windows that I could see. Monday, there were 10 out-of-state license plates in the west lot alone, and 10 other vehicles with Illinois plates and no Zion stickers in their windows. I don't know if they come from the harbor or Beach Park, Newport Township, Wadsworth, I don't know. But that is the research I have done. Now, so what? What I might suggest for your conversation is charging a fee for non-resident parking in the metro parking lots. If you did that at, say, $5 a day, which is what Waukegan charges and what Kenosha charges, 10 vehicles with no apparent Zion residency, that'll give you $50 a day. 5 days a week, that's $250 a week, so on, multiply it out. Now, when I was a boy, many, many years ago, decades ago, living in the west suburb of Glen Ellen, they had angle parking downtown rather than the parallel parking. I request extra time, sir. They had angle parking rather than parallel parking in downtown Glen Ellen. Periodically, I think every 15 or 20 minutes, a Glen Ellen policeman would ride around town on a 3-wheel police motorcycle with a chalk device, and he put a chalk mark on tires of each car that was parked. There was a parking limitation. I don't know what the time was. That was many, many years ago. But he would go south on Main Street to Duane, take Duane Street over to Park Boulevard, park back to Pennsylvania, and so on. The names mean nothing, but he rode a regular circuit in Glen Ellen, putting chalk marks on the tires. At periodic intervals, he would return. If the car was still there, they had violated the city parking limits, tickets would be issued. What I suggest is that you put a parking permit device, as they have in the parking lot at Waukegan, in the metro lots, for non-resident vehicles. Zion residents with stickers on their vehicles could still be allowed to park free. I suggest, and I know there'd be an outrage, your predecessor, Sir Mary Harrison, said that he would be hanged in effigy, if not in fact, if he put up parking meters. But I might suggest parking meters downtown. Same thing, Zion stickers would be allowed to park free. Non-resident vehicles, as evidenced by no stickers in the window, would have to feed the meter. A Zion employee, I don't know whether it would be police or a civilian employee, could walk the street just up and down Zion and then drive over to the parking lot. Any vehicles that were overparked or did not have Zion stickers could be ticketed. I offer this to you and my research for your meditation and consideration. I do thank you for your time, your attention to this, and your consideration. Permission to stand down, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Bremner. Could come on forward. Could you state your names just so we know who you are?
Yes. Hi, my name is Cristo Encarnacion, and I'm here today because I have a concern about the $3.93 cart lease that's on our water bill. And it might not be on everybody's water bill because where some people might have paid the $50, but for myself back in 2004, I did not. And I know several other people that did not either, in which we're still leasing our garbage can, which is our cart lease that's on our water bill at $3.93. Now, over a period of time, considering I moved into my place in 2004, there was not an option where the bill, where the $50 could have been split up, where it could have been on my bill like periodic, each quarter. But it was, the only choice we had was to lease or either pay the $50. So at that time, having to pay, and for some of us having to pay deposits, we might have not have had that $50 at that time. But in the interim of things, as of today, I've noticed I paid $192 for that garbage can. That only costs, on every website that I see, it only costs $50. So what I'm asking here is that I notice how the cart lease is no longer an option for Zion no more. You either purchase the cart lease, the garbage can, or you can have it split up on your water bill, but it's still just the $50. So what I'm asking here today is somehow if the people who have already paid this cart lease, can we be grandfathered in? Because what they're asking me to do is pay an additional $50, in which I've already paid well over $50. I've paid it almost 4 times already, and I don't want to have to pay another $50 to get that cart lease off my water bill and have a garbage can at my house. So my thought process here is that anyone who has been paying this cart lease over a period of 5 years can somehow just be grandfathered in to where now this cart lease no longer appear on their water bill. And I know where it might not seem much, but that $3.93 actually adds up over a period of time as I've did the research and I've looked at it and I'm like, okay, now I have time to kind of look at this, and I'm just asking, can this be somehow removed from our water bill if we've been on this for over 5 years and not have to pay an additional $50 to actually get another cart lease, to get another garbage can rather.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. And will you take that into consideration, or do I have to call somebody else?
No, this would be the place where it's,
Okay.
there's nobody else to call.
Okay.
David, could you explain our policy on this?
Yeah, the current policy, like you explained, was when someone signs up, they can put $1.31 or $3.93 a quarter
Right.
onto their bill rather than pay the $50 for the cart. It's a lease, so the way the lease was set up was just like if you're renting your home, you pay on that forever. After a certain time, you're obviously paying more than the house is worth, but that's the agreement that was entered into at the time. However, we can take a look at the policy and see if we want to revisit it to address that.
Thank you.
I don't see why we couldn't.
So it's just part of the contract with
Well, that's why I have to take a look at with Advanced Disposal, the contract with them, because we no longer have the lease option. Again, that was due to contractual changes with Advanced. But I think that was a policy adopted at the time, again, to try and help kind of finance that purchase over time, where as they lease it, carts would be replaced because they were under lease without having to buy a new one if it was damaged. So it's kind of a risk reward depending on whether you lease or purchase. If we've had individuals paying over a long period of time, we could take a look at that. Like I said, there's nothing in the policy right now to address that. That's why we've been stuck with,
Yes.
we have to do the 50 because that's the only option in the policy, but we could revisit it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I want to be sure that you understand that these guys their job is to enforce the policy.
Okay.
If we need to revisit a policy, that's our decision here. And so if any of the department heads are giving you bad news, it's not because they like doing that or they want to do it. It's because that's what the policy is.
Right.
But how many people do we have that are on leases now? Do you know?
I believe the number we looked at was about 700
We have 700 that are leasing?
that are on the lease. How many have been over 5 years? I don't know that number.
Right.
I would be part of that population. We've been leasing it for quite a while. I just noticed it on the bill. So
you want to change the policy? I'm only kidding.
I think it's about time I get a new garbage bin. So
But the garbage
it's
cans.
about time to get
The
replaced.
garbage cans today, they give you a 5-year warranty, because I've actually went through the whole site, so I know it's a 5-year warranty once you get it. So if they can grandfather us in, we still got 5 years on that.
Yeah.
What's the administrative issues with this? Do you know any right off?
Once we set it up, it's automatic to
No,
recur on the bill. But,
I mean with ending it.
well, we would just have to try and look at the dates of when everyone signed up, which I think we can get from the system relatively easily, and then determine everybody who was over whatever period of time. If we said hypothetically 5 years, then go into each of those accounts and basically deactivate that lease, and then they would be under the same as everyone else, that if that was damaged, you'd have to buy a new one,
Right.
versus it being covered by the lease.
I'm okay.
So,
And I can tell you, I work technology, so if you need help writing down the program, I can do it for you.
I'm thinking of somebody who has paid $190 versus somebody who has paid $47.50.
Right.
Now, what's the issue there, and how do we work that? I guess maybe that's what we need to talk about.
Yeah, that's, you know, whether it's 5 years, 7 years, 3 years, whatever the number is. Because I think it's comes out at 3.5 years, where it's kind of your break-even point.
Okay.
But again, there's benefits in leasing as far as cart replacement versus purchasing, but we can revisit the policy.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Did you get it? Can we get your name again? I'm sorry, can you? It would help if you'd write it down, because then it'll be in the minutes and. Thank you. Item number 6 is the consent agenda. Clerk, please read the consent agenda.
Approval of minutes of a regular meeting held on November 7th, 2017 at 7 p.m. Approval but not release of closed session minutes of a meeting held on November 7th, 2017 at 8:35 p.m. Bills, vouchers 127826 through 127955 drawn on First Merit Bank. Total $446,191.22.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion
Second?
and a second. Is there discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Deteen?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item number 7 is consider passing resolution as follows. 7A is Truth in Taxation Law Resolution per Director Nabel.
Thank
Well,
you,
I
Mayor.
guess-
What's that? Oh. You have before you the truth and taxation resolution. This is a statutory requirement if our levy might go over 5%. We're required to pass this to establish the date for a public hearing and also provide an estimate of levy. This is not the actual adoption of the levy. That would be happening at the earliest at the December 19th council meeting, based on timing of public hearing and how long we have to have this published before adopting the levy. But we have TIF 1 closure, which is putting somewhere between $12 and $13 million of assessed value onto the tax rolls from development in the TIF area. And there's also about $2.8 million of other new construction that is going on the tax rolls. And that accounts for approximately a 7% increase in our total EAV. So even if we just took the taxes on that, we'd be going 7% over and have to file a truth and taxation resolution. So this is just a bookmark saying this is the maximum we could do. We could always adopt under, but if we didn't pass this, we couldn't adopt over the 5%. So there's an estimate of levy here of about 9.5% increase, with the second piece being the establishment of the public hearing on December 5th, 2017.
David, can you explain exactly what the levy is?
Sure. The levy is basically the amount of money that we're asking for the city from taxpayers and businesses. So we submit for our general fund purposes, for our pensions, for our liability insurance, an amount that we're asking for the county to put on your tax bills, because you get tax bills from the county. But the schools ask for a certain amount, the city asks for a certain amount, all that gets compiled, sent to the county, and then gets put on the tax bills. We can only go up by the lesser of 5% or a consumer price index amount annually. That amount is 2.1% this year. So theoretically, if we didn't have that new construction and the TIF closure, we could only go up by 2.1%, and there wouldn't be a need for a truth and taxation resolution because we'd be below the 5%. But with that new construction, the levy may be increased by total more than that 2.1%, but that's just because of the amount of taxes that we're going to get on the new construction, not the amount that we're going to get. We're not going to get that much more from the existing taxpayer base. So that levy will be adopted on December 19th, setting the amount that we ask for from businesses and residents. that will then go on the 2018, or will go on your tax bills to be paid in 2018.
Could you also explain the discussion that we've had regarding the, primarily the new TIF property that will be coming on, and the decision that this council will have to make regarding whether we take it?
Sure. Whenever there's new construction, it provides an opportunity to potentially lower tax base if we decide not to kind of go after those taxes. So if we ignored the TIF, the $13 million of value on the TIF closure, for example, we could go up 2.1%, maximum 2.1% on everything that's there right now, which would have the impact of increasing the city's portion of everyone's tax bill by 2.1%. So I estimate that on a $100,000 house, that'd be about $15 a year. Now, the TIF value is a separate piece that if we tax that, we're gonna get all the tax revenue on that. But if we decide not to go after that, it would actually reduce everyone's taxes by more than the 2.1% that we'd be asking for. So the city would get new revenue while simultaneously decreasing taxes for the city's portion anyway. The schools have to decide what they're gonna do with theirs, et cetera. But the city could get new revenue while also reducing the taxes of the existing taxpayers and businesses. So that's gonna be a decision that the council's gonna have to make on where on that spectrum we want to pass the levy. And that's obviously gonna be based on needs of roads, pension liabilities, things of that nature that we're gonna have to, there's gonna be, have to be a good discussion about.
David, quick question. If we did not use the TIF, would that then restrict us under the PTEL for the following year?
It would,
Yeah. Which means it would
because,
limit our ability to be able to levy
correct,
in the future. Yeah.
because the amount that you can go, that 2.1% that you could go up is based on whatever your highest levy, your highest extension was over the past 3 years.
Mhm.
So if we don't add that to our levy now, our highest of the 3 years is what it currently is.
And let me be sure I understand that.
Sure.
That's the extension,
That's your highest extension.
it's not the levy.
Right.
Okay.
And there's a slight difference there. The levy is how much you ask for, and then there's PTEL limits and cap limits, and the county comes back and says, well, there's some final value changes, and this is how much you can actually extend
Right.
for the year. So your highest extension in 3 years is your base for increasing how much you can increase next year.
Right.
So if we don't add that new construction to the levy, then our base is set at a lower amount, so then that percentage we can only go up on a percentage of that lower amount.
Right. Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion that we approve the truth in taxation resolution.
Well, there's a motion,
Second.
a second. Is there further discussion?
I've got a comment I'd like to make.
Me too.
Okay.
You go first.
Might be similar. So this will represent, if we decide to capture or take from taxpayers all the money that can be taken from the residents of Zion, that would represent an increase of about 9.5%.
No.
This counts, right?
It would represent an increase in the amount of revenue we bring in by 9.5%.
Yeah.
But the taxpayers that were outside the TIF, those would only go up about 2.1%. The other 7.4% would be the taxes we're gonna get on that new construction.
Yeah.
So, just for
Yeah.
clarification.
We would be able to increase the amount of money that the city of Zion gets. Now, this council has typically held the line on that, and we've not raised the levy, we've kept it flat. That's been our philosophy, pretty much. And we've done that out of principle as somewhat of a example for other taxing bodies to follow. And what's difficult is other taxing bodies have not followed that. They have levied the maximum amount that they can levy. And this year it's quite significant because we've got the TIF money and new construction that's going to be added. So there's a potential that, that our taxes are gonna be increased significantly. And I'm really glad that we're passing this resolution because this will require us to have a public hearing. And I would like to hear from the residents of Zion, can we as the city take all the taxes from you that is available and increase our levy by 9.5%? I'd like to know if you'd like us to do that. Because we haven't in the past. What's frustrating about it, from my perspective, is that other taxing bodies that represent a much larger portion of the tax bill just simply do this. They just take all the money that's available. And we've tried to, out of principle, hold the line. But if the residents of Zion really just want us to take all the money that we possibly can, I really want to know that, because our police department, our fire department, our public works and building department could really use the money. So if you want us to take all the money, then I'd like to know if we can. And I guess we'll hear that at the public meeting.
I think we need to be sure that people understand, though, is the rather insignificant consequences on your tax bill if the city does take all the money. We're 12% of the tax bill?
13%.
We're 12 or 13% of the tax bill. So if the city cut its taxes in half, my taxes would go down approximately. If we cut them in half, I mean, we got rid of half of everything that we have right now, my taxes would go down about $300. So it's, and I find it, I would agree with you, Commissioner. I find it frustrating that our city employees have had very small, if any, raises over the past 3 or 4 years. Our streets are suffering. As you mentioned, our police department is down personnel. The fire department are down personnel. The streets are suffering because we don't have enough money to put in them, and we don't have enough people working in public works. And we are unable to. We have to be able to function, and we have to keep our city functioning at a level that's acceptable. And I think that that's a good point that you've made. I think we need to ask people, you know, what are you willing to pay for the city to keep functioning the way or hopefully a little bit better than the way we have. But it's very frustrating when we hold the line and then the tax bills come up and come out and they're extraordinarily high because nobody else is doing it, and our employees are taking it on the chin. And I think we have a responsibility to them. We absolutely have a responsibility to taxpayers, but we also have a responsibility to our employees to be sure that, you know, we're being fair to them. So I
mean, this is I came into this office determined to hold the line on taxes, and we have done that. But then I've seen our other taxing bodies that take chunks of money out of our residents' pockets, and our percentage is relatively small, and been doing it, I thought, as an example, but that example has not borne much fruit, actually.
And I said the other night, I don't resent this. I find this rather humorous, I guess, that people always come to the city council and say, you guys have to do something about taxes. You have to do something about taxes. And it was after one of those meetings, and I was golfing with some guys that are over at Shiloh Golf Course, and they started on me the next morning about taxes. They got their tax bill, and the taxes. I said, whoa. They said, don't talk to me. You need to talk to the other taxing bodies. And one of the gentlemen that was there said, yeah, Al, but you're the head coach. You're the mayor, and the mayor's the head coach, and nobody wants to talk to the defensive coordinator, and nobody wants to talk to the offensive coordinator. They want to talk to the mayor. So I think we do get put on the spot a lot for the tax bills, which is not necessarily accurate, but I guess it's what people expect. So the public hearing is the 5th of December. So if you...
There's not many people here, so I hope that what's broadcast, people will hear that and come to the meeting, because I really want to know, can we take all this money or not? That's what I'd like to know from the
I think before we do that, we have to define what all this money is.
Yeah, well,
Because when you say it that
yeah,
way,
yeah.
it sounds like we've got this big pile of cash that we're trying to pull in, and that's not the
Yeah,
case.
yeah.
So, okay. So we have a motion and a second.
Yes.
Is there further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Deteen?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item number 8 is consider passing ordinances as follows. 8A. It would be 8A, is vacating a portion of Galilee Avenue right-of-way, second reading per Director Ianson. Commissioner, are you going to?
Thank you, Your Honor. Director Ianson is not here. This ordinance, it's number 17-0, is an ordinance, second reading, an ordinance vacating a portion of Galilee Avenue right-of-way situated at 2539 Galilee Avenue.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
A motion
Second?
and a second. Is there discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Deteen? Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item 8B is granting a variance for Zion Municipal Code Section 102-206B2, nonconforming structures and uses, second reading per Director Ironson. Commissioner McKinney.
Again, thank you. I'd like to make a motion that we pass this ordinance granting a variance from Zion Municipal Code Section 102-206B2, non-conforming structures and uses at 2539 Galilee Avenue.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second?
We have a second. Is there discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Deteen?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item 8C is requesting a text amendment to Zion Municipal Code, Chapter 3, Administrative Code Hearing Department, per Director Ianson. Commissioner McKinney.
Mayors and Commissioner, currently the Administrative Code Hearing Department ordinance is based on subsection B of the code violation hearing statute. As of August 2015, municipalities, including non-home rule municipalities, have the statutory authority to enact a code violation hearing ordinance based on subsection C. A subsection C ordinance enables the municipality to bypass court enforcement by authorizing the hearing officer to enter a judgment on a code violation. It also authorizes the hearing officers to deal with noncompliance by awarding cost, sanctions, and fees, including attorney's fees to the municipality in the event that the municipality incurs these expenses in connection with enforcement proceedings beyond the initial hearing. The hearing officer is also empowered to order imposition of a lien as a primary enforcement tool. Staff is recommending that we amend the administrative code hearing ordinance to reflect these changes. This will reduce legal and court costs. So I'd make a motion that we amend the text to the municipal code, chapter 3, administrative code hearing.
We have a motion
Second?
and a second. Is there discussion? Paula, could you give a
Sure.
synopsis of what this actually means?
As Commissioner McKinney indicated, the most relevant provision of this is the new subsection C, which is a recent development. Typically, because Zion is a non-home rule community, once the hearing officer conducts the administrative adjudication process, renders a finding, that finding in order, should it not be appealed by the property owner, is then forwarded to our office, and then we have to file a petition with the circuit court to basically convert the findings from the administrative adjudication hearing to a judgment. This will bypass that. It obviously will deter costs that the city has been incurring over the past several years in trying to enforce those findings. So this will cut some of the steps. The administrative adjudication hearing officer will have to do a few more steps, but they'll be nominal compared to the practice that we had to do in the past. So it is definitely an advantage for the city to enact this as it's set forth.
Does this, I noticed that it includes parking violations and other, is it more than parking or just parking?
I know parking is the main thing. Maybe the chief can add to that. I know the building department does all its code compliance.
Yeah, so it's it's
violations.
not moving violations, just parking
No,
violations.
moving violations would typically go through the circuit court and would be prosecuted on a local level.
So my question is this parking violations issued by the building department only or by the police department also?
Police department.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if the building department issues a lot of parking violations per se. I can't speak for that.
They do some.
Okay.
They're usually on private property, junk autos, things like that.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Deteen?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item 8D is regarding the disposition of surplus property for Chief Dumian.
Thank you, Mayor Commissioners. I respectfully request the following vehicles be declared as surplus property and approved to be auctioned through Clinton Auto Auctions. These vehicles were previously used as squad cars and removed from service due to costly maintenance repairs. The first one is a 2010 Crown Victoria, black and white in color. Last four of the VIN are 7238, approximate mileage is 100,000 miles. Second vehicle is a 2004 Crown Vic, gray in color. Last four of the VIN 4863 with approximately 129,800 miles. I respectfully request the following vehicles be declared as surplus property and approved to be traded in on the purchase of one new Ford Taurus, if approved later in this meeting. First vehicle is a 2007 Chevy Impala. Last four of the VIN are 5391, has 129,000 miles on it. Second vehicle is a 2005 Chevy Tahoe, white in color. Last four of the VIN 5622 with approximately 127,000 miles. Additionally, I request the following vehicle be declared as surplus property and approved to be junked through BC Automotive at no cost to BC Automotive or the City of Zion. This vehicle was previously used as our K-9 vehicle and removed from service due to costly maintenance repairs. This vehicle is in such poor condition I do not recommend attempting to auction the vehicle. That vehicle is a 2010 Crown Vic, black and white. Last for the VIN 8492 has approximately 157,100 miles on it. Thank you.
Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve this disposition of surplus property.
Second?
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Deteen?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item 8E regarding the disposition of surplus property for Chief Lewis.
Thank you, Your Honor, Counsel. It's been brought to my attention that a vehicle formerly used by one of our ESDA directors, the department vehicle, has been sitting at Public Works for several years now without being used. This vehicle was previously a squad car which was transferred to ESDA at his request. I'm respectfully requesting the vehicle described below, a 2005 Chevy Impala, VIN last number 4080, with 120,032 miles on it, be declared surplus and sold through Clinton Auto Auction.
So moved?
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Deteen?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item 8F regarding the disposition of surplus property for Chief Lewis.
Thank you, Your Honor, again. Many years ago, ESDA acquired through donation 3 portable restrooms or porta potties from Service Sanitation. The intent of this donation was that these units could be trailered for extended police and fire incidents for use by personnel. Throughout the years, the porta potties have not been used as often as expected. These porta potties take up storage space and need to be cleaned and emptied by ESDA staff at the expense of the city. The larger porta potties actually sit on a trailer that will be repurposed as a method to store and move large barricades utilized by ESDA, thus eliminating a future expense. We have been in contact with Service Sanitation, and they are willing to take back the porta potties to be reused by their company. I respectfully request the council declare the unit surplus and authorize them to be returned to the original owner.
So moved?
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. For discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Deteen?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item 9 is discussion, authorization, and approval. 9A is consider compensation increase for Administrative Code Hearing Officer per Director Ianson and Commissioner McKinney.
Yes, Mayor, Commissioners, currently Administrative Code Hearing Officer receives $300 per session or $600 per month, which is divided equally between the building and the police departments. With the recent amending of the Administrative Code Hearing Ordinance, this will increase the hearing officer's responsibilities and time per session. Staff is recommending that we increase the compensation to $350 per session or $700 per month.
Second?
Is there a motion and a
So
second?
moved.
We have a motion and a second. Is there discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Deteen?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item 9B is consider approval of IGH LLC's application to participate in this Community Development Block Grant Commercial Sign and Facade and Improvement Program per Director Nabel.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. This is our second application under this grant. If you recall, a while ago, we received a grant from the county that all we do is basically administer the applications. It's a 50-50 matching grant where 50% is paid by the business, the other 50% comes from funds for the grant. So it's passed through from the county to the business. And you have the application here for Culvers of Zion, IGH LLC doing business as Culvers of Zion for new signage on the exterior of their building. The total project is expected to not exceed $6,817.50. Therefore, the maximum reimbursement for the CDBG funds would be $3,408.75, and staff recommends approval of the application as presented.
I'll make a motion, we approve this request.
A motion
Second?
and a second. Is there discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Deteen?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item 9C is request permission to waive bids and authorize the purchase of a squad car in the police department per Chief Dumian.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. I respectfully request the City Council approve the purchase of one additional 2017 Ford Taurus for the police department. I'm requesting approval to waive bids and purchase this vehicle at or below SPC contract price of $20,951. This is not a budgeted purchase in fiscal year 2018. However, the general fund will not be used for this purchase, and this expense will come from the Drug Asset Forfeiture Fund. Additionally, I would like approval to trade, if the dealer will agree, two vehicles which were taken out of service and you just declared as surplus property. 2005 Chevy Impala, black in color, last four of the VIN are 5391 with 129,000 miles on it. The second vehicle, 2005 Chevy Tahoe, white in color, last four of the VIN 5622 with 127,000 miles on it.
So moved.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. Is there discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Deteen? Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item 10 is departmental commentary. Department heads have any comments?
I have
Mr.
one item. At a prior meeting, I'll just read my memo here. The City of Zion partnered with Affordable Housing Corporation of Lake County to provide grant funds to make eligible improvements to individuals' homes. Some of these activities can include roof and window repairs, lead and mold remediation, kitchen and bathroom improvements, handicap accessibility, electrical and plumbing repairs, water heaters, furnaces, things of that nature. To participate, you must own and live in the home, be current on your property taxes, and meet certain income requirements. That was adopted by the city, again, at no cost to us, just funding through Affordable Housing in Lake County. And they have provided us some information on how to qualify for the grant and who to contact, so I have that available. We'll be putting it on Facebook, the city website, but we'll also have copies out there for anyone that is interested.
I've already seen it on Facebook. So.
Yes.
I would also like to take this opportunity to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. And I'm just going to relay a little story that happened to me a few years back when I was going through some somewhat difficult times. And there was a park board commissioner after a park board meeting. We were walking out of the meeting and he put his arm around me and said, "Al," he said, "I know you're going through a little bit of a hard time right now, He said, but when you start feeling sorry for yourself, he said, think about what a nice house you live in, what a nice car you have, what a great job you have, what a wonderful family that you have, what wonderful friends that you have. And he said to me, he said, there were billions of people on this earth that would trade places with you like that. And I thought, oh my, you're right. And so I want to just remind people that when you're thinking about your taxes, and you're thinking about it getting cold outside, and you're thinking about it getting dark when you're going home from work, and you think about leaves that are blowing and aren't falling off the tree, and all the things that we, I think, often think negative thoughts about. Just remember that there are billions of people that would trade places with us to be in this country with our freedoms and the things that we have, and just be thankful for what we have. And I wish you absolutely the best Thanksgiving. Item number 11 is announcements. November 23rd and 24th, city offices are closed for a Thanksgiving holiday. December 5th at 7 p.m., there's a Zion City Council meeting. December 19th at 6:30, there's a Zion Township Board meeting. And at 7 p.m., there's a Zion City Council meeting. And I would like to reiterate the fact that on December 5th, part of that meeting, there'll be a public hearing to talk about the levy. So please join us. And item number 14 is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A motion
Second.
and a second. Is there discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Deteen?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
No.
Okay, you can.